from so many other public entities, whether it's train stations or stadiums or shopping centers or amusement parks. We know that wherever there is a parking lot, there is a place for GNR and safety and damage prevention. So I know all of you look at this environment, and we can talk a little bit later about where to start and where to go and where to leverage your sales, but certainly it's not only the amount of opportunity out there, it's what the needs are, which include safety, which include the ability, of course, to maintain property, to make it look better, to protect people. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity out there for us all. I'm going to change the image here because working together is something that we've really advocated from the beginning. It's been our philosophy. It's been our ability to organize things in a marketplace where we really know and have felt all along that having more people out there doing things with their relationships, that the work of many is certainly better than the work of few in the size of the market that we share. What I'm going to do is hand the mic back over to Allison, and I think you'll be quite enlightened to take this snapshot and for her to be able to work with you and inform you about what we're up to.
Thank you, Steve. All right, I'm going to spend just a few minutes now discussing some of the marketing strategies and various support tools we have available to all of you. Some of you might be already familiar with all of the things that we have to offer, but I think many of you still might not, and we definitely encourage you all to take advantage of all of these things we have. As Steve mentioned, we are obviously not a direct seller, and cooperation, working together in all aspects of sales and marketing is beneficial for all. Obviously, more exposure equals, more brand awareness, which equals an increase in demand, which then turns into more sales and more leads for our distributors. Again, as Steve has mentioned, there are various market channels that are available to target, from local end users like your mom and pop shop to big retail chains like McDonald's and Best Buy to the contractor and reseller market. The opportunities really are endless. The question becomes, not only who to target, but how exactly to target them. All of these market channels that you see and that we've discussed are made up of various industries. For example, local multi-chain stores can, consist of restaurant chains to, again, the big box stores like Walmart. So again, it's really defining exactly who you want to target and then figuring out how to target them. I guess first and foremost, the internet. I mean, we all use it. Obviously, we're using it now. We all know how to use it. It's an incredibly powerful and resourceful tool. Whenever I want to, know about something, the first thing I'm going to do is go on the internet and do a search for it. All of the market channels that we just covered have associations and directories that are available online. Let's say I wanted to start targeting, restaurant chains in the city of Chicago. I'm going to go online, type in Google or Bing, restaurants in Chicago, and then add in the word associations or directories, and you'll be, perhaps surprised at the amount of groups that do exist out there for these industries. Next thing, obviously, is to get involved. I think this is a bit of a no-brainer. Again, the associations that do exist often have both national and regional trade shows. Oftentimes, the regional trade shows will be a little less expensive than the national ones because they're on a much smaller scale. But, targeting and reaching the local trade shows is probably more beneficial to you anyways because it's going to be in the area that you service. Even if you can't exhibit, it's not in your budget, definitely attending the shows, walking it, networking, going to the golf tournaments and going to the dinners and the lunches. Clearly, again, this is a bit of a no-brainer, but the more people that you can get in touch with, the more people that you network with, obviously the outcome is going to be far greater. Internet marketing and email marketing. These associations often have media kits, whether they're available online or you might have to email them to get it delivered to you. But you should just, take a few minutes to check it out. You might be surprised at the low-cost way you can market yourselves online. Sometimes these associations will have banner ads that you can put on their website itself. Most often than not, these associations will also have buyer's guides where you can add your company as a listing for free. Sometimes they'll have enhanced listings where you can add a company logo or a website link. But just getting yourself out there and being exposed to these people that are part of the association, when they're looking for products or supplies, they often go to the associations they're part of, do a search there, and if you're on those sites and you're available to be found, then clearly the likelihood of them contacting you is far greater. Directory listings as well, I think this is something that a lot of people don't take advantage of. There are a ton of directory listings that are available depending, again, on the industry. Again, all you would have to do is do a keyword search in Google or Bing for whatever industry you want to search. Let's say it's property managers or restaurants, and then the word directory, and you'll usually find a whole bunch of listings where there's all this information, business information that's compiled together according to industry. And adding a listing there is also free. And again, it's just getting more exposure. Growing your database is something that we've been an advocate for a very long time. We always suggest that the more people that you can get in touch with, the more people that you can contact, again, the more exposure you get in the market. So collecting as many names as you can, getting let's say a mailing list or an association database that you can then message to is something that's worth checking out. If you do become a member, oftentimes the member association database is available either for a smaller fee or for free. Website maintenance. We're a little late in the game for this. I did mention this in a few newsletters ago, for those of you that do take the time to read those. Making sure all the product information, the content, the images, everything on your website is up to date. I've seen, just out of pure curiosity, looking on our distributor websites, there's quite a few that are still using images of ours from 10 plus years ago. The parkets, for example, way back when we didn't have tape on the ends, and some of you guys are still using images with parkets without tape on the ends. These little improvements that we've made over the years makes a big difference in your marketing efforts, and making sure that customers see the most relevant and the most recent information on your website will probably help tip them over the edge, as opposed to going somewhere else, another company that maybe looks a little better or has more up-to-date information. Social media. This is something that we haven't really dabbled into ourselves as a company, but nonetheless it's something that you should be aware of. LinkedIn, for example, is an incredible business-to-business networking site. You can find almost, I wouldn't say everybody, but there's a good majority of business owners that are using this networking site now, and being able to find the right people that you want to contact. I know just on a personal level, a bunch of my friends that have been able to get in the door with these very large corporations and businesses, selling their products to them by actually contacting them on LinkedIn and getting a response back, and they managed to make a sale through that networking site. Facebook and Twitter, some of our distributors are actively using these sites, and it's amazing and it's great. The industry as a whole, I don't feel, is really taken to the social networking thing as of yet, but it definitely is growing. I mean, I do searches all the time on these websites just to see what's out there, see what companies are doing what. You can get a lot of product news and industry news through these social sites, so it's definitely worth checking out. All right, so getting to the sales tools and support and resources that we offer. Again, some of you might already be very familiar with all of these things that we have. First and foremost is our website. 5 years ago when I was hired, the website was very outdated. A lot of old information on there, and we've put a lot of effort into revamping that and making sure all the content that's on there is up to date. So if you have any questions or you just want to refresh your minds about the features and the benefits and the specs and all of that, installation videos, that's all available on our website. We've also added an online distributor toolbox, and that is again available on our website at that link you see there. It requires a login and password information, which is case sensitive. And in this toolbox, it's basically our media kit. It has high-resolution images, high-resolution PDFs of all of our catalogs, there's some website content, PowerPoint presentations. It's basically everything you would need in order to market our products. There's really no reason why you shouldn't be taking advantage of this stuff. You know, use the images on your website, put them in your catalogs, you know, use the website content and email blasts, whatever you want to do, use that stuff. It's available for you, and it's free, and it's very easily accessible. Sales support and training. I mean, we've always been, you know, very adamant about getting involved in our distributors, you know, sales and their business and what they're doing and growing the partnership together. Having Steve Engels or Michael Grant, our sales team, go out and meet you guys, they would be very happy to do so. You know, let's say you have a whole sales team of 10 people, you want to do some sales training, a bit of a refresher courses, they would be more than happy to go see you guys. Trade shows, if you're walking or if you're exhibiting, we would love to go down and see you as well. And I mean, they're there for your disposal, so please don't be shy and contact them if you know, would like some sales advice or some help. Last but not least is our literature. We have, I don't know, maybe like 8, 9 types of different brochures that we've created over the years. Depending on if you want to target an end user or a contractor, we have literature for you. And again, it's free. Let us know, myself in particular, or Alvaro, if you want us to send you some literature. We can send it with your order, no problem. I did also mention this in, I think it was the last newsletter that I did. One thing that you should be doing, which really costs you nothing, is sending literature with every order that goes out the door. You know, somebody that orders, let's say, 10 parquets might not know that you also sell speed bumps or bollard covers or corner and wall protectors. Why not just send them the brochures when you're sending their order? You increase the likelihood that they'll, you know, contact you later for other products that they might need. And very last but not least, I did mention this a couple times already, our monthly newsletter. I definitely appreciate all of those who are reading it on a monthly basis. I know who you guys are, so don't think that that's going unnoticed. But for those that are not, it's you know, full of information that's very valuable to you. It's got sales tips in there, marketing tips, product news, industry news, you know, for having a price list increase or any kind of company announcements. It's all there in the newsletters, and it's sent once a month. You know, take the 5 minutes to read it. You might learn a lot. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Steve again, and he's going to continue talking about how you can build successful selling relationships.
Thank you, Allison. That I think was a really good, thorough refresh about what we're doing to support our partners and what advantage they can certainly take from the tools and naturally ourselves, who are really willing to pitch in and do a variety of things without a doubt. I'm going to, it's funny, when we started planning this, which wasn't long ago, we had a few different ideas, and they were more clinical than perhaps practical or pragmatic. And Allison and what she does, marketing and certainly some great awareness ideas, said to me, why don't we kind of talk to salespeople about sales, which I think is certainly a terrific idea. It's something that I love to do and have loved to do over the last 40 years. I'm aging myself a little bit today, but it's a profession, and if it's treated like a profession, there is no question there's going to be success. And I want to really just undefined take a moment to talk about some experience and some things I think that help us to understand at times when we not lose the way, but where we need to be prompted at times. For the last 40 years almost, not consecutively, but I've attended a lot of sales training and a lot of sales seminars by people like Tom Peters, if you know them, know him rather, and others in that category, which are very motivational, but they sort of bring you back to the basics. And I want to just talk about the basics when I'm talking about choosing the target and defining the purpose and the preparation and the homework and understanding the doctor-patient relationship that we share with buyers as salespeople, their needs, their pain points, and naturally prescribing the right solution with value, with return on investment. So I'm going to throw out a couple of words. And for me, you know, people, I've interviewed people, I've been with thousands of salespeople, and I turn to them and they ask a basic question is, what is sales all about? And some people give me a description of a process, of a product being described, so on and so forth, and I find it kind of intriguing because really the only answer, and I will say with absolute confidence the right answer, it's about building relationships. You've heard it before, but to understand it and really make it happen, it takes some planning. Excuse me, just a sip of water. The recognition, first of all, starts with believing in something. You have to have that belief. And that belief is going to turn into, you know, some involvement. And the involvement is going to involve, of course, creating a plan. Creating a plan with a purpose. And that combined belief, involvement, there's going to be obviously some natural passion that's going to come into this to reach a level of self-confidence. Because I'll tell you something, after so many years of selling, I've learned a lot, and I've learned a lot from people, and because this is, we're in the people business, and thank God Allison's beside me today, because if I was at the controls here, probably nobody would be hearing anything. I'm not technically that efficient, but most certainly what I'm trying to say to you is that with all the technology, people still run businesses. People communicate with people. People sell things to people that buy things. And at the end of the day, if you're in business, you better understand certainly that it's about people. So I will say the following to you. When you're approaching an educated buyer, he is looking for an educated seller and somebody that understands what they are doing. And it's not by any means all about price. It's if you are a good conveyor of the message and you understand what the psychology is, the buyer is looking for the best advice, which will certainly make him make that decision to the best supplier because he knows that he's really getting the best value. And this is extremely important to understand. So choosing the target and defining the purpose. The target that you want is rather vast. And it's not like taking a shotgun and spreading shotgun all over the place. There are leverage targets, which certainly Allison touched upon in her marketing area. And it's local grocery stores that could have 5 or 6 units that you can go into and naturally meet the person involved, make the connection, see the need, the pedestrian traffic problem. You know, 20% of all accidents, or 1 in 5, or 1 in 5, occur in parking lots. They're dangerous places. So, you know, once you identify that target, and there's 5 or 6, you may be able to sell $5,000 to $10,000 in each location. This is not impossible. Nothing is impossible if you are prepared. So the target, whether it's the local grocery store chain, whether it's the airport, whether it's the hospital, whether it's the stadium, the arena, whether it's the bus or train station, you've got to be prepared, or a business-to-business type of affair. So choosing the target, defining the purpose, leads us to getting prepared and doing homework. I don't know about all of you, but I don't get on a phone with anybody or any company without trying to understand first who they are. And that comes back to the web, and that doesn't take much time. And you're looking for a very compatible customer, and that web is telling you a lot about what is going on, including, at times, the mentality of the company. So that preparation and homework leads you to a phone call, and that phone call has to have a purpose. It has the purpose, naturally, of trying to get by that gatekeeper who may be very tough and very limited with time, and you're getting on the phone and you may just say straight out, hey, we have a great opportunity here. My name is Steve Engels from GNR Technologies, and our purpose is to certainly look for partnership and enlighten your company about something that can be very beneficial and very profitable. I'd like to speak to your VP sales or perhaps your owner. And, you know, when you get on the phone with that purpose and you're asking for help and direction, people normally will help you. And they will send you to the destination that you have to be. And once on the phone with that decision maker, there's no question about the fact that you're asking for 5 or 10 minutes of his time. That's a gracious thing to do. And once accepted, you can go into your story, you can send some collaterals, refer to your website, so on and so forth. That's preparing. That's understanding. And when you're dropping names of their products and giving them some insight that you've taken the time to be able to investigate and you know what you're talking about and you've taken interest, that moves you forward. So it forwards into the doctor-patient relationship, which I always use that analogy. It's an excellent point. I mean, we all know it. We all are concerned about our health. We go to a doctor. The doctor sits down and asks us some pertinent questions. He then waits for the answers. He listens very carefully. My dad used to say to me, in certain meetings you should close your ears and close your mouth rather and open your ears. And that's what people do in a selling experience. They ask the questions, they wait for the answers, and inevitably you have some prior knowledge. You've maybe even visited a certain shopping center where you see the problems and you are conveying them, and they are naturally being related to, which makes you very clever and very well respected as you build your reputation with the prospect. Thereafter, the doctor is going to prescribe something for you to remain healthy or to get better. And this prescription, of course, certainly leads into a relationship where there's high selling value and a continuance of moving on to other referrals or certainly building your reputation. So the selling of value, if I can reach you there, is that we're not in a commodity-driven business by any means. We are definitely in a show and tell business. And enabling people to understand the sticker price of our product comes all the values with features, benefits, relocatable, showing really, you know, that throwing out a piece of concrete or digging up an asphalt speed bump is not exactly the best way to spend your money. The aesthetic value to the property, the safety, of course, the performance of our products, these are all things that are outlined on our website with very tight specifications. We are in the safety business, make no mistake about it, and our products are very scrutinized by whomever uses them. They're qualified, they're tested, they're bona fide, and they are super delicious to buy. So all in mind here, you know, building the relationship, doing the homework, identifying the needs, and then closing the sale will become easy because you have the trust and confidence and assurance of the buyer because you've created it. So I shall move forward, and I'm going to tell you 2 quick stories because I'm a long talker, sorry. But one of them, of course, starts with the city of Chicago, where we had a very ambitious distributor who made the appointment with the head of transportation, and we sat and we talked about different needs and different problems. After talking about a few incidentals like the Chicago Bulls, at the time Michael Jordan was still playing, and it made for conversation and enjoyment. But we went out to lunch, and I brought all my literature with me, and I was all excited. And I sat down with this gentleman, and as we were having lunch, he was flipping through some of our pages, and all of a sudden stopped eating, put down his fork, and turned to us and said, "We have a problem in our alleys. People are speeding. There's a lot of accidents. There's a lot of personal injury." And we started talking about what they currently have been doing about it. Well, they had crews of 4 guys going out paving big rectangular panels in the alleyways to slow down traffic. And what had happened is that only on, of course, non-raining days they could do this work because pavers do not pave in the rain. They weren't making very much headway. The solution was not really very effective, and they were spending a lot of time and money, so to speak, getting nowhere. And as this gentleman flipped through our catalog, he saw our speed bump and our alley bump. And that's really how things evolved at the alley bump. It is a 3-inch height across a 12-inch span with our big broad stripes and cat's eyes. And what we did is we implemented a test site for them. They have 2,100 miles of linear miles of alleys, the most alleys in America in any city. And they tested the product for 2 weeks, and the workers got to install it, and we supervised it on site. And I can't begin to tell you, this started a whole evolution and revolution in Chicago. We sold tens of thousands of our alley bumps to the city. They still buy it today through a distributor, of course, that the deal was negotiated with. We do not sell direct. And that was a great success story for us. And it followed with, naturally, our traffic logic solutions, which one of our senior reps is in Chicago today actually selling signs to the city and vying for some very big business. And very, very proud to see this happen, as we have only developed, of course, our signs 3 years ago, but really state-of-the-art. The next story I'll move to is the new kids on the block. We certainly were 16 years ago, and any time, naturally, you are new, you're trying to prove yourself more than ever. And the story took place in an area of business that we are still very focused on and strong today in highway safety solutions. And we looked at that market and did a study and found that there was a lot of terrible solutions out there, safety-wise, performance-wise. I'm talking about the big drums that you see on the highway and delineation devices that at that time were held down by rocks, bricks, sandbags, which once exploded upon a real hazard on the road going 60, 70 miles an hour. And we said, hey, rubber's the idea here. It's stackable. You can throw it from a truck. It won't break. It's compact. It doesn't take up a lot of lane room. And at the end of it, we supply some major companies in America with ballasts for their very important devices in work zones. Well, coming back to the new kids on the block, I went to the American Traffic Safety Services Association show, where I found a very interesting company and started to pitch our company and certainly myself, and told them that we have some interesting designs and are very capable to be able to bring value to your company and a terrific, I think, margin to go with it. And as we talked more and more, and one thing I forgot about when talking about the sales approach, as I did, persistence is certainly part of professional selling. We went through designs and prototypes with this company. The relationship started to grow from the VP sales right up to the CEO. It's a relevant piece of business for them. We met with engineers in their company, and together we formulated a line that we still sell to them, and it's been 16 years later. The intrigue here was that after 4 months, I was told by the original fellow I contacted, hey, you've got the business, let's get started, and we really built this business beautifully. And other accounts came on board as a result of our innovation and certainly marketing. But the funny story, a part of this story, is that I was invited to their national sales meeting, and from their national sales meeting I was introduced, of course, as a new supplier, and the VP sales turned and said to his audience of about 35 salespeople, "Geez, am I happy we gave this business to GNR. That goddamn guy Engels, I won't be getting his phone calls on a daily basis." Everybody laughed. Being a Canadian and a Montreal Canadian fan, I pulled out a couple of Montreal Canadian sweaters. And in that presentation, I gave them 2 Canadian sweaters with the number 1 on the back. And as I said, our relationship still endures and flourishes today. The company at the time was Services and Materials. They are owned today by Kimberly-Clark. So that's a little bit about where I've been. I learned from a lot of people. I've seen a lot of very interesting things. It's a people's business, sales, and if you want to treat it as a profession, self-improvement is available on the web, books, live seminars, inspirational speakers, motivational speakers. There is just so much to learn if, naturally, like myself, you love what you do. So that's a little bit of my story. I'm going to knowing your competition here. You'll notice that there aren't a bunch of dollar signs all over the place, but you should all be familiar with different mediums that are out there, how they perform, what replacement value, what lifespan there is with product that you are seeing. And there's a very good story to be told when you're sitting with a prospect or a customer, which is knowing about really what's out there and what to warn them about and what to naturally promote in their good interest. Alternate solutions after time, well, you know, you kind of get what you pay for. And if you're taking a look at what I'm looking at, asphalt, concrete, of course, these are things that differ from what we do. And ours are movable. Ours, I think, are prettier. And when it comes down to it, a heck of a lot easier to work with. That's what all of the contractors, thousands who have used our product, see on a daily basis. And I should mention to you, part of your sales growth is going to definitely come from others, as Allison explained, the reseller. The contractor is there. He's on site. He's doing the work. The striper, the seal coater, the paver, these are people that are very valuable to you. Educate them. Duplicate what you're learning, because they are just residual income and growth to your business. They're there, and they're aware, and they don't like lugging around things or paving things that are really a nuisance. All of our products are molded. They're all a standard size. They're all approved. There's no variance. They conform to a road surface, no matter if it's perfectly flat or a little bit wavy. And just to show you, you get what you pay for here. Well, dollars that are well spent usually last long. Our car stops, they're visible from 360 degrees, molded and taped. We went through the painting process. We were the people that actually learned to mold and tape, and others have certainly copied. Our decorative curbs, beautiful. A couple of inside shots of our Easy Riders. Indoor lots are good to work at naturally during winter months. The work continues. Safety. Here's one of our big alley bumps. And that's me, I think, several years ago in an old car. And this is just riding over our safety rider. The difference, as you know, is that speed humps slow down traffic, and they permit it to flow. It's unlike a bump or an alley bump especially that will kind of stop you in your tracks. Our new Safety Rider V, V standing for vulcanized, not for 5, is something that we've developed with a lot of effort and resources into a vulcanized process a little bit different. We're not using a binder. We are actually using a much hotter temperature, and we have brought about this technology to be more competitive with a product that we know at this price can sell a lot more. And this product is wonderful. The 3-foot mini hump, the Safety Rider V, is something that people really latch onto. Self-evident protection, corner protection, column protection, wall guards, opening doors against a wall. These are things that add value. They add relevance. It's part of the toolkit. I love the bollard cover. It just simply covers corroded, eroded, paint-chipped steel posts, which are used for protection in various areas of the environment, of parking lots, loading docks, instant tellers, all of those things. Installation, it's fairly clear, it's fairly concise. Asphalt, you can use the spikes, the lag bolts or the shields. Concrete, absolutely lag bolts and shields. Our hardware is extra on the Rider family, except rather the Safety Rider comes with hardware. The Safety Rider V comes with hardware. The spikes, the lag bolts, the shields for our parking curbs or speed bumps, that is a separate issue. They're sold separately. So we hope that you've benefited from what we've done here over about a 45-minute, 50-minute spans. And we really look forward to hearing from you, to sharing photographs, experiences. We'd love to publish some stories, some testimonials. And I'm going to hand you back here to Allison for a second. So thank you very, very much. Hang on one sec.
Hi, everybody. It's me again. As Steve mentioned, we want to thank you all for taking the time to join us today. I got a question about the presentation, if it will be available after today, and yes, of course it will. I will make it available to all of our distributors. I'll send you all an email letting you know where you can find it. So if there's any other questions, anybody? No? Okay, you can always send us an email, contact us directly by phone. If you have any further questions or would like us to elaborate a little bit more on anything we spoke about today. So thank you all again, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care.